Hello everyone and welcome back to another series of The Public Eye, a 6-part series of podcasts brought to you by Granite Exchange. I'm your host Sarah Travers, and for those of you who tune in already, you'll know that throughout the series I speak with local entrepreneurs and business owners to learn more about how the companies have come to be, to gain insight into their growth and find out how they continue to innovate. So, wherever you get your podcasts from, remember to keep an eye out for new episodes and subscribe to stay up to date. Now, a very tasty one coming up for you today. I'm joined in the podcast studio by Michael Nugent, founder of, and this is the thing, Nogelato. Or Nugelato. We will come to that in a minute. You're very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Great to be here.
So before we begin, a little bit of background. And for this background, I'm actually going to have to go way back. Back, in fact, to 1900, when Jack Nugent was born in the seaside town of Newcastle, County Down. Jack sails to America seeking work opportunities. In 1928, the ice cream dream all started when he receives a letter from his mother asking him to come home and start a business. Jack had a dream of making ice cream and spent a year perfecting his craft. So then Jack and his family opened the Strand Ice Cream Parlour and Home Bakery. At that time, Jack was the first non-Italian to perfect the art of making ice cream in Ireland. And the tradition of ice cream making passed down through the family to Michael Sr. Fast forward to 2015, and the man sitting in front of me now, Michael Nugent Jr., opened Nugelato, locating its first ice cream boutique in Newcastle, which created the best ice cream experience in the UK and Ireland. Michael, my goodness, what a family history.
What a story.
What a story. And do you know what's so fascinating for me is that you were the first non-Italian family to do this, because really the Italians had it sewn up on the island up
the
until
Italians
that point.
came and they took over. No, basically, we all know some of the famous Italian kind of names throughout Ireland making ice cream, but my ROE family history, they started their own Irish version, I suppose, drawing on obviously Italian influence.
So tell me about, Jack. What did he do to perfect his craft out there? Did he work for some Italians?
Yeah, he spent his time in Chicago, from what I'm led to believe, and there was a bit of an Italian, maybe it's more of a gangster element over there in the Italians. He wasn't into that type of crack, but he would have. I don't know. He developed this. He must have seen it, or he must have tasted it. He just had a dream of coming home and making it. It seemed in his eyes something different that could be done in Newcastle.
And like a good boy, he listened to his mummy.
Yeah, that was funny. We have the original letter. It was
do you?
Yeah, we have it framed and stuff. Basically, his mum obviously maybe wanted to get him home. Jack actually came from a big family. There was I think he had maybe 10 or 11 brothers and sisters. So there was a lot of them. So I don't know what was made him so special that she wanted him home, but she had seen a wee opportunity. Two cottages became available. They were to be sold, and they thought there was a good opportunity for him to get a cafe on that side of the town. And
when you actually look at your Facebook page or your website, you've beautiful old photographs up there, and you know what? There's just joy comes out of them. Everyone is happy and smiling.
Yeah, it seems to be like you look back with a lot of kind of nostalgia and imagine how things were back then. And as you said, it seemed to be a very exciting time. It would have been a very tough time throughout as well. You know, they don't have all the modern tech that we have, but everybody seemed to be happy, and I suppose they were getting to make ice cream, so...
Well, obviously, the ice cream went down very well with all the holiday makers that loved going to Newcastle. You added another dimension. Were you the first people to be selling ice cream in Newcastle?
No, funny, was around, if we were very close to be the first, if we weren't the first, but there's another Italian kind of family came into the town around the same time, and I think it was, I don't know who started it first, but I think we did.
Yeah, of course you did. But was it the ice cream wars,
It
or
was,
did you work together?
No, there's always an element of rivalry, I think, back then, you know. But yeah, it was healthy competition.
This podcast is sponsored by Granite Legal Services, a niche business and immigration law practice located in the heart of Newry City. Granite Legal Services provides legal advice to both individuals and companies alike across a wide range of industries, from employment, commercial or corporate law matters to immigration law. Granite Legal Services focuses on providing legally sound, practical advice to its clients. To get in touch, visit www.granitelegalservices.co.uk or contact 028 3026 2200. So obviously it's passed down through the generations then to your dad, and in 2015 that's where you really started to make your mark. What was that like?
It was amazing. Basically, I have, like my father, they continued on kind of the Strand business and making ice cream, and like they had a big home bakery. That was the focus kind of throughout the 70s and 80s. He always had a love for the ice cream side of it, and that kind of passed through to me. Albeit I went to Queen's and done civil engineering and kind of went around the world and seen a few things or whatever. But from all my travels, I suppose I was influenced by certain things that I had seen and encountered, and tastes like Italian gelato. So I kind of came home and worked hard to develop our own recipes and drawing on different experiences to make what we believe is the ultimate ice cream experience. So we opened our doors in 2015 and we haven't really looked back since. It's been a bit of a whirlwind.
So do you think the fact that you went and did civil engineering at Queen's, were you trying to deny the ice cream that was in your veins?
No, I always harboured an ice cream dream.
Did you?
Yeah, like if you speak to any of my mates, I suppose, I didn't realise it or appreciate it at the time, but I've been talking about ice cream and opening ice cream shops for years. You know,
I'm sure your friends loved you when you were young. The fact that your dad
sorted them out with the odd ice cream on the house, but charge them now for make it up for.
So whenever you took it over, you obviously brought that creativity that you have, and you needed to innovate.
Well, that was it. Basically, in a sense, we didn't actually essentially take over. We
started again.
We started new in a different location, so the Strand ran parallel, albeit we done our thing very differently. So yeah, we just brought something else to the table. We could see a gap in the market for indulgence and creative indulgence and ice cream, you know. So especially being Newcastle, it's a seaside town, I suppose anybody could sell ice cream in Newcastle, but we made it a wee bit different, and we designed it in such a way that it wasn't going to be seasonal. We wanted it to be an all year round business. We were never, as I said, we knew we had something special being created, and it was just, we're drawn on innovation really. Like as I said, like we didn't reinvent the wheel totally, but we definitely improved upon what has ever been before, I suppose.
Yeah. You talked there sort of about that luxury and that, you know, people wanting those lovely experiences, and that's all about the recipes really.
Yes.
And that's really where you come into your own.
And it really is. I'm kind of, you mentioned the civil engineering, and I suppose engineering is all about mathematics and formulas. So is ice cream. So I became growing up, I would have been familiar with all the ingredients, but all the ingredients do different things. They all have a different measurements would enhance a certain product and add this kind of characteristic to it. So it was interesting to come up with what we believe is a perfectly balanced and
are you chief ice cream taster, or do you have a team, or do you need anybody to help out with that job?
Well, I would definitely be the chief one now, but my wife and the whole family would all be involved. But yes, anytime you want to come down, you could be the chief tester.
Right, I'm coming
for
with
our new products.
Straight after this. I absolutely adore ice cream, and I am kind of fascinated. So tell me about the recipes themselves. Where do you get your ingredients? Where do you get your ideas? Where do you get your inspiration?
Well, obviously it's Italian gelato, or Irish version of Italian gelato. So we're very much inspired by them. All where possible, we use local ingredients. Obviously, our milk and things come from the local areas. However, we do kind of get our other ingredients from all throughout the world, really, to get the best products available for us to make ice cream. I suppose, like for example, vanilla would come from Madagascar. You mean there's other things come from like Spain, Italy, countries that are traditionally known for growing the certain products, or fruit and that we use to flavour it,
And people come from all over to taste the sensations. And the thing is as well, what I find amazing over this last year is you've grown and grown and grown. And how many premises do you have now?
Yeah, well, funnily, you mentioned people did come, and I suppose we knew we had something different, but we always had hoped to grow and expand. But we wanted to make it something in Newcastle that is amazing, that would inspire and attract people. And thankfully we did do that. So in that regard, our growth, while it was something we had hoped for, was actually quite organic. We used to be every night, as I said, we changed it from a seasonal business to a year-round business, and every night we would notice people from Newry coming in droves every night throughout the winter time, coming, would you please open in Newry, open in Newry. And then we thought, God, maybe there's an opening there for us in Newry. So then we opened up in Newry within a year of opening our first boutique in Newcastle. And then we had to expend a bit of money and try to increase our production capabilities, and then that allowed us to open up more. So then we opened up one in Bangor. Then it was quite funny. A good customer of ours from the Craigavon, Portadown area, they set up an online petition to get us. It was completely, you know what I mean?
Serious?
Yeah, they go.
That was driven by the people.
That was driven by the people.
Wow.
So the people asked, and we, how could we refuse that?
Delivered.
So then we were in Stranmillis. Then we opened up in Belfast. Then Portadown. Then Cookstown, Ballymena's coming, and a few others.
You see, it's so exciting, but for anybody else listening this now that maybe is at that stage with their business, that they know they've got something good, but then they're thinking about growing or scaling that business, and it requires a lot of risk and it requires a lot of money. How brave do you have to be at that moment to do it?
You have to be very brave. We kind of, it's in our nature to take risks. Not everybody would be as adverse to taking risks, but it was the best thing that we ever done was opening Newry, because we could see, God, we can operate in two sites, you know what I mean? But again, we have the capabilities. I came from a family that ice cream is in our veins, I suppose, so we can kind of adapt and turn our hand to anything in the ice cream world, I suppose. So it's just if you had the resources and capabilities to take the plunge, why not, I suppose.
And then you're at the head of the business, but then it requires good staff, it requires that loyalty, it requires people to have the same passion as you have to make sure that quality, because you can't be in every one of those.
No, 100%. Well, I was very lucky. My wife, she would be very active and heavily involved in the business. Like, she's very creative, she's very hardworking, and you know what I mean? So like we both kind of, it was our brainchild, I suppose, and like it's kind of like our wee baby that we look after. And as it has grown, you had mentioned other people have come into the business, but we find like while we do offer franchise at the minute, each of the franchises, like they came to us because they had the attraction, the appeal. The appeal was there.
Franchise, that's the way it works now.
That's how it works as we're getting bigger now, you know.
Okay, so you have Newcastle and you have Newry.
Yeah.
Are the others franchises?
And then the other ones are franchises.
And do you think this is the way you'll continue to go?
Yeah, it's the way to go. I suppose franchising wasn't necessarily the route that we had planned originally, but it was. You just mentioned we can't be everywhere.
No.
And when we seen good people excited by our product and the whole experience, you know what I mean? It was generally they've been good matches, I suppose. So no, it's worked well.
I suppose it's a model that's been around for a long time. McDonald's always springs to mind for me. But how do you look for the right franchisee?
We just obviously it's very hard to get that's the biggest challenge in franchising is getting the right people. I suppose obviously you'll kind of get a feel for a person whenever you meet them.
What do you look for?
Just kind of honesty, willingness, just an excitement, a passion for working, and somebody who's prepared to do the work. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's easy in this world, you know, and even ice cream takes a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of hours involved. But if you work at anything, you can make a success of it, you know.
So what's a kind of a typical day for you then, Michael? No.
Typical day now, I suppose as time has gone on, I'm maybe less in the stores, like selling ice cream and stuff. So we just recently done a whole big factory revamp there. So we've got a lot more production capability. So you'd find me on a day-to-day kind of in the office, making sure everybody's happy around the kind of franchise network within our own stores. If anything needs addressed and I can do it, I'll fix it, or I'll get the right people in to fix it. Then I'll be down in the factory making sure that enough ice cream's being made and the ice cream's going to where it should be going and things like that. But it's just a continuous cycle. You never know what exactly you're going to come up or meet next, you know. And
how challenging has the past year been for you?
It has been challenging for everybody. As you know, we were able to adapt very quickly, and that's kind of one of our strengths as a business is our adaptability. We actually won an award, an Irish News Award, for being adaptable.
Brilliant.
And so we were very quickly mobilised into a delivery service. We developed what we call a Nuggy pack, which comprised of all people's favourite ice creams and toppings and sauces, and essentially in a pack. So that went very well. It was great. It was something different and quite unique at the start.
And who came up with that idea?
Well, that was me in the garden, really. There's only so much fence painting I could do this is in the initial lockdown when everything was very serious. Mm-hmm. After a few weeks, like as I said, me and Katrina were like, you know, because I have also got a wee juice bar in Newcastle, and we do like a detox pack.
Oh.
So I was saying to Katrina, I was just like, you know, we could maybe do an ice cream pack like we do in the detox packs. And then we kind of just thought, God, you know, we could.
Yeah.
So very quickly, we were very lucky that we had the machinery that was able to do a lot of them very quickly. Mm-hmm. You know.
And how far were you delivering then?
We were delivering like all around County Down and Belfast, really.
And everybody was loving it.
Everybody was loving it now. Oh, because as I said, it was very good. We started off in the immediate locality of Newcastle. Then it was like obviously Castlewell and Kilcoo, their surrounding areas. But then suddenly we were getting overwhelmed by Portadown. So we used to then do like a collection service. So the van would come up, pull up to the town, and then
Portadown loves you.
Yeah, they did love us. They still do.
They
I
do,
think.
they
Yes, they still do. But no, it was very exciting.
See the delivery van and everything. Yes. And are you keeping that going then?
No, we still do the packs, but not so much the delivery service now because we're busy enough to get the ice cream out to our own stores.
And do you know what's lovely is sort of the change in culture, in that cafe culture, in that evening, nighttime economy for ice cream. You know, you're staying open, and as you said, it's not a seasonal business, but, you know, not everybody, well, we certainly couldn't go to bars and restaurants, but, you know, it might have been a nice thing to take a stroll and have an ice cream in the evening.
Well, that's it. Newcastle is definitely, Newcastle, for example, it's a lovely place to come and go for a walk along the promenade or whatever, especially in the longer evenings. But as you said, like the bar industry people still want to go out and have a good night out, but the people who don't, they maybe still want to get out anyway, and
Yeah.
that's where we come in, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to see that. I mean, I live up on the north coast as
Yes.
well, and along Portstewart Prom, it is lovely to see all of those places open now in the evenings
Yes.
for people who, you just don't want to shut the door at 6 o'clock and that's it
Yeah.
for the evening. You can continue your conversations and your chat and
Yeah, and
have a
we,
little.
we were very, very influenced by our customers, and we could see that that's what our customers
It's a
wanted.
very
I
European
suppose. It
feel,
was, yeah,
yeah.
drawn in on the Italian influence, I suppose.
And then if you just look at the change in ice cream as well, it's all about the display too. When you actually do go to a store, it's the presentation, which absolutely, again, the Italians were maybe doing it first, but it's now all the toppings and
Yeah.
the biscuits and it's incredible.
To be honest with you, we don't go too overboard. I would rather see a messy cabinet that's selling ice cream rather than a pristine thing, albeit we do take good care of our cabinets. But yeah, no,
So that would be something that you would say maybe watch out for. Don't touch it, don't ruin it.
no, as I said, as long as it's been scooped and people are
Yeah.
coming to buy, you know what I mean, as long as they're happy with the taste.
So solve another issue for me. I brought it up at the start. Your name is Nugent,
Yes.
but people are saying Nugelato, Nugelato. Please tell us, what is the truth?
Tomato.
Yeah.
It can be anything you want it to be, really. Basically, we've heard it all, I suppose, but strictly speaking, it's from Nugent and Gelato. We combined the names very smartly.
Very clever.
So, strictly speaking, it should be that, but everything is nuggy. The fun element comes from the nuggy.
The nuggy and
You
the
know what I
nuggy
mean?
pots.
And the nuggy pots, the nuggy
mhm.
burritos, the nuggy cups, nuggy cones, nuggy burr. We've got
So
a
if
wee teddy
you were
bear.
just talking about your business, you would say Nugelato.
I would say Nugelato, but if I was on the phone to a new supplier, I would say Nugelato.
Oh, for goodness sake.
So
Right,
I even confuse myself sometimes.
and Tuesdays and Wednesdays do this. Thursdays and Fridays do this. Okay, so Nugelato, the nuggy pots and the nuggy burrito. Just tell me about what is in the nuggy burrito.
I know. Well,
I haven't had one.
As I said, we've drawn influence from all our experiences throughout the world, and obviously, when you think of burritos, it's a Mexican food. So we kind of combined our ice creams with what we could to make a burrito in an ice cream sweet treat world. So basically, it actually it was quite funny. I was actually making a crepe one time, and my sister was talking to me about a burrito, and I was just like, hold on. And then that was
It was born.
It was born.
I mean, it's
It was
quite-
very unique. It was, as far as I'm concerned, it was the first one in the world at that time, ice cream burrito.
So talk me through, is there a mixture of hot and cold? Or
It was.
Oh,
So you have
right.
to heat the crepe, and then you fold it like a burrito with your ice cream and sauces and favourite toppings.
And then what? There's tin foil to keep it all
tin foil
together?
around it, and then you just peel away at it. And it's surprisingly, you can bite into it without having that cold
Yes,
sensation in your teeth. I think it's like the crepe forms a protective layer in that regard.
Actually sounds good.
It actually is amazing, to be honest
Is
with you. I
that
wouldn't
right?
mind one now. Yeah.
Is that your favourite?
Kind of. I can kind of go through everything, really. I go through everything in the menu kind of at different times, you know. But it's hard to beat a nuggy pot. That's
So
what we're
talk us
famous
through
for.
the nuggy pot then.
The nuggy pot was it's our unique product. It's our
That's what everybody wants.
that's what everybody wants, a nuggy pot. It was the original and best nuggy pot. And it's just people's favourite sauces and people's favourite toppings and favourite ice cream.
So you personalise
You
it?
personalise it.
Gotcha.
And that's why people can get creative. We do have a set menu, but people, as I said, they can get exactly what they want. It's a bespoke ice cream for them every time. Every time they can be different. There's over 1,000 possibilities you can get.
And I was just wondering, you say that is the favourite, but what is the favourite flavour of ice cream?
Kind of. Sometimes it can be seasonal at times, but it's hard. Like our best ice. All our ice cream is lovely, but it all comes from a vanilla base, and our vanilla is the best ice cream.
You can't
Best ice
beat
cream
vanilla.
about. You really can't. And we make it fresh in store. It's the freshest ice cream you will get
Is that
in the
right?
country.
Okay. Yeah, I am definitely heading to Newcastle, or indeed to Portadown, where they.
We've only one
do you know,
across the
there's one
road.
across the road in Newry, so right, that's where I'm nipping out after this. Since starting your business, what are the biggest challenges you've faced, and the lessons that you've learned from those?
Biggest challenges would be we constantly put pressure on ourselves to be innovative and creative. We try to be original all the time, and that's kind of, so we have a passion for that. Our biggest challenge was whenever people obviously see it being successful, and then breeds more competition, so you obviously have to always try to stand out from the pack, you know.
And do you ever doubt yourself?
Not really. Like, you kind of just go with it. If something doesn't work, you just, shelve it and do something else, I suppose, or try something new.
And working with your wife as well, how does that work?
Well, Katrina, she's actually a barrister also. So she could be in court one day, and then she'd be coming in to help me with serving ice cream in the evening. No, but it's been great. Like, we both I can't speak for anybody, but Katrina's been amazing. We both work very well together, And
it's great to have that sounding board and that trusted friend.
Well, that's it. Like, it's like we literally live ice cream. Honest to God, it's morning, noon, and night. We can't get away from it through choice and through our just the nature of it. So I know, it's been great. As I said, we both are very passionate about it, and we both are kind of relentless in our pursuit of making it the best.
Do you enjoy being your own boss? Because with that comes from, everybody thinks, I'll run my own business. That must be, it's hard work. As you say, you never get away from it. But do you love could you work for anybody else?
Katrina would often say, I don't think anybody else would have me. So it's maybe I'm better off being my own boss. Listen, it's like anything. It has great perks, and it's amazing because I suppose we get to demonstrate our creativity and bring products that we want to bring to people. But it has its ups and downs, has its challenges. But yeah, overall, I'm happy to be my own boss. Yeah.
And when you think, the ice cream dream all started in the family, almost, well, it is 100 years ago now. It's over nearly 100 years ago now. What do you think Granda Jack would make of it all now?
I know, well, it's a very different time now. I'd say, I'm sure they'd be happy enough now, to be honest with you. It's always been I don't know what ambitions he harboured, as I said, like they were maybe Newcastle centred. They had their shop in Newcastle and ever, but I always felt that we believed in our product, that we could bring it to other places. We want to bring the best to the rest, I suppose. So I'd say they'd be happy with us, Shocked, maybe. In
another 100 years, where do you see the business?
I see. I don't see why it couldn't be the McDonald's of the ice cream world. I'd be expecting. I'm hoping that we're going to take over Northern Ireland first, and then maybe go further afield.
World domination.
Yeah, as I said, we draw on the influence. We've got that passion and drive, and I don't see why not. It's as good as what there is out there.
And what's the ice cream industry like, worldwide? Because I know you travel a lot. You go to Italy, and the Italians absolutely pride themselves in their ice cream. But what is it like? Is it ruthless? Is it?
It's very ruthless in Northern Ireland. Here it's very competitive.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably one of the most competitive places on the planet. And I don't say that. Even we're from South Down, the amount of independent ice cream makers in this small area is frightening, really, but yeah, no, as I said, we're very different. We're not just the same, so I believe there'll be room for us anywhere.
Well, I hope so. Now, the final question I ask everyone,
Yes.
Michael, the purpose of this podcast is, I suppose, to inspire existing business owners and those ambitious entrepreneurs out there to either begin or grow their business, which you've done hugely successfully, by offering an insight into the success of companies such as yours. What advice would you give to anyone listening to this right now who may have a business idea but has no idea where to begin, or are unsure as to whether or not the risk is worth taking?
I think you have to believe in what you're doing. You have to have an understanding. You have to want to and have that desire to work at something to make it a success. I would say just it has to be it's a very personal thing, I suppose. You have to believe in yourself and you have to believe in what you're doing, and if you believe that you can make a change for the better or you can change something for the better, I would say try it if you can. There's no reason why not.
Give it a go.
Give it a go. As I said, just try to be different and try to be unique, and I think, who knows, could be. And you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be in any industry. You know what I mean? It can be like you think something's already been done before, but you can make something better.
Well, I hope in 100 years from now that this little time capsule moment has been captured and you have taken over the world.
Yeah,
with
we'll work
Nugelato or Nugelato. We'll have to nail down what the name is.
We'll have to nail down that someday, but for the minute we'll go between the two of them, I think.
You know, just to leave everybody with this thought, if you have a look at the website, you have a look at the Facebook page, there's a gorgeous quote up there. We want to put happiness in your hand to brighten your day and give you that feeling that everything is okay, which is just exactly what ice cream does.
It does, yeah. It brightens up the dullest of days.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
This podcast was recorded in Granite Podcast Studio. Interested in starting up your own podcast but don't know how? Granite Podcast Studio can help. Record your podcast in our state-of-the-art studio, which is based in the heart of Newry City. Our studio has cutting-edge and user-friendly technology and can seat up to 4 people. We also provide an editing service for our team using your guidance and editing notes to provide you with a flawless finished product, leaving your listeners wanting more. For more information on how you can get started, visit www.granitepodcaststudio.com.